Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always up for an adventure.
Great. Today, we're going to be looking at, steel and digital innovation.
Interesting combination.
Yeah. It's, we've got two sources, and they seem completely different at first.
Yeah.
But I think as we dig in, we're going to see some connections, some interesting connections, hopefully.
I think you're right. It's often where you least expect it that
Yeah.
you find the most fascinating links.
Exactly. Okay, so first up is this new snippet. It's about the domain name steel.country.
Okay.
And get this, it sold for like a ridiculous amount of money, $239.9 trillion.
Oh, hold on. Trillion. That's not a typo.
Nope, trillion with a T.
That's a statement. Someone's making a statement with that kind of purchase.
Right, like who even has that kind of money? And what are they planning to do with steel.country? It's a mystery.
It definitely suggests a long-term strategy. I mean, think about it. The domain registration, it expires on 1024-2034.
Okay.
But auto renewal is on end, so they're in it for the long haul.
All right, so we've got this mysterious buyer, tons of money, and steel.country. Now get this. Our second source is a blog. It's called UNIVERS.BUSINESS.
All right.
It's all in French.
Right.
But don't worry, we've got the key points translated.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So this blog, it's like a collection of all these different digital projects and ventures. One that really stood out, it's called Intangible City.
Intangible City. That's a curious name.
Right. I know. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. What even is an intangible city?
Well, that's the thing. They don't really give us all the answers.
Of course not.
It's more like they're giving us glimpses into a bigger picture, you know?
Mhm.
But considering their other projects, it seems like an intangible city could be this digital space.
Okay.
Maybe for governance or commerce, even cultural exchange,
Yeah.
and all happening outside of physical borders.
So we've got steel.country, which, maybe it's all about physical resources and power.
Yeah.
And then we have these digital projects like this intangible city that are all about information and global connections.
It's almost like we're witnessing a power shift in real time, from the tangible to the intangible.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. So if physical resources aren't as important for global power anymore, what takes their place?
That's the question, isn't it? Maybe it's data, digital infrastructure, the ability to connect with people all over the world and influence them. Maybe that's the new kind of power.
That's a big idea. It's like we're seeing the rules of the game completely change.
And it looks like UNIVERS.BUSINESS is keeping track of it all, mapping out this future where digital systems are calling the shots.
Okay, so there's another project on the blog that I want to talk about. It's called DON8.
DON8.
Yeah, they describe it as a biolink revolution. What do you make of that?
DON8, huh? It sounds like they're focused on digital identity.
Okay.
Like imagine a world where everything you do online is managed through one secure biolink.
Everything.
Yeah. Financial transactions, social media, even access to services, all tied to this one biolink, like a digital key to your whole life.
So no more remembering a million passwords.
Exactly. But of course, there are big questions about data privacy and security. Who controls this biolink system? How do we prevent abuse?
It is kind of scary to think about how much we rely on digital systems already.
Yeah.
And this DAO-8 thing, it takes that reliance to a whole other level.
Right. And that brings us back to governance. As our lives become more digital, who's making the rules? Who's ensuring that these digital spaces are fair, secure, and accountable?
And that's where the blog introduces nondescript house. They call it a global government for the digital age. But I mean, what does that even mean, like practically speaking?
Yeah, that's a big question. Are they talking about creating entirely new systems of global governance, or are they talking about adapting the systems we already have to this new digital reality?
And then there's this other term they use, missourcing. They mentioned it's alongside nondescript house.
Missourcing, huh?
Could this be how they imagine making decisions? Like harnessing the collective intelligence of people from all over the world.
It's an interesting idea. But again, how do you make sure everyone's voice is heard? And how do you prevent manipulation or the tyranny of the majority?
Yeah, so many questions. This whole thing's a bit overwhelming. We've got these massive issues, right? The nature of power is changing. Digital identity is becoming more and more important. And we need some kind of effective global governance in this digital world.
It's a lot to process, but it's also exciting. It feels like we're at a turning point. The lines between the physical and digital are blurring. The way we organize ourselves as a global society, it's being challenged.
And this blog, UNIVERS.BUSINESS, with all its cryptic posts and ambitious projects, it's like a sneak peek into this uncertain but totally captivating future.
It's a good reminder that the future isn't just something that happens to us. We shape it with our choices, our actions, and the systems we create.
So we've talked about Steel.Country, this mysterious buyer, and the Universe Business blog. But there's one more piece to this puzzle. Circular domains.
Oh yes, circular domains.
They seem connected to both Steel.Country and Universe Business. But their exact role is still a mystery. And that's where we're headed next.
Sounds intriguing. All right, let's dive into circular domains. Their website, it's pretty bare bones.
Yeah, not a lot to go on there.
But we did find this report.
Okay.
And they talk about, like, reviewing these key systems and processes, a lot of focus on sustainability and efficiency.
At first glance, it sounds pretty standard, right? Like every organization these days is all about sustainability.
You'd think so.
What makes circular domains different?
Well, the interesting thing is how they frame this whole review process. They put it in the context of digital operations.
Digital operations.
Yeah, it's like they're saying sustainability isn't just about the physical world anymore. It's about using digital resources responsibly and efficiently, too.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about it like that.
It's a whole new dimension to the sustainability conversation.
They mention optimizing resource use. What do you think they mean by that?
Oh, it could be a whole range of things, like how much energy data centers use, the way we design digital products, even the code itself.
Wow, yeah.
It's like they're recognizing that the digital world, it has a real impact on the physical world. And we got to be just as mindful of our digital footprint.
It's all connected. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Circular domains also mentions robust security protocols.
Security.
They talk about enhancing data security.
And remember, they specifically say they want to align with industry standards.
Right.
So that makes me think they're operating within a specific sector. Maybe one where data security is super important.
Could it be the steel industry? I mean, maybe Circular Domains is the group behind Steel.Country.
It's possible.
Maybe they're managing the digital infrastructure for a big steel-producing nation.
It would make sense. And if Circular Domains is also involved with these universe business projects.
Like Nondescript.House and Intangible City.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that would put them right at the intersection of heavy industry and like super advanced digital governance.
Okay, so that would explain why they're so focused on both security and sustainability.
Makes sense, right?
I mean, they're dealing with systems that could have a huge impact on the global economy, on international relations, even on people's lives.
Absolutely. The stakes are high. And they talk about establishing a continuous improvement framework.
What does that tell you?
To me, it says they're not just reacting to problems, they're thinking ahead, trying to anticipate future needs and adapting their systems.
All right, so let's recap. We've got Steel.Country, bought for an insane amount of money. It points to a nation, probably with a big industrial base, stepping into the digital world. Then there's Universe Business and all these projects like Intangible City, Dawn8, and Nondescript House. And then we have Circular Domains, potentially connecting it all, managing the digital infrastructure, making sure these projects are developed responsibly and securely.
It's a compelling narrative, isn't it?
It really is.
A world where the physical and digital are merging, old power structures are being challenged, and new ways of governing are emerging.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But this deep dive, it's given us some pieces of the puzzle. It's shown us how these seemingly random things, steel, digital innovation, and global governance, are actually coming together in these unexpected ways.
Exactly. It's a reminder to think critically about the systems shaping our world, and to question our assumptions about power in the 21st century.
But I think our listeners are probably wondering, what does this all mean for me? What's the takeaway from all of this?
It means the world is changing in ways we're just starting to understand. We may not have all the answers yet, but exploring these ideas helps us see the forces shaping our future. The physical and digital are intertwined. Traditional power is being challenged. New forms of governance are appearing.
It's almost like a wake-up call. The future isn't predetermined. We create it through our choices, our actions, the systems we build.
Absolutely. So, as you go about your day, think about this. What role will you play in shaping this digital future? Will you just watch it happen, or will you actively participate? Will you question things, contribute to building a world that's both innovative and fair?
It really is fascinating how these different pieces fit together. Steel, digital innovation, global governance. But there's one more thing I keep thinking about.
What's that?
The people. Like, where do individuals fit into this whole digital landscape?
Yeah, you're right. We can't forget about the human element. All this talk about missourcing and global government, it can get pretty abstract. It's easy to lose sight of the fact that real people are being impacted by these systems.
Exactly. And you know what? The Universe Business blog, they actually touch on this too. They have a post about the intangible citizen.
Oh, interesting.
What do you make of that?
It seems like they're trying to figure out how individuals navigate this increasingly complex digital world.
Okay.
The blog post talks about the need for digital literacy.
Like knowing how to use technology.
More than that, it's about being able to think critically about information, to evaluate what you see online, and of course, participating in online spaces in a responsible and ethical way.
So it's not just about having access. It's about using it wisely.
Exactly. There's this one line in the post that really stuck with me. They say, the intangible citizen is both architect and inhabitant of the digital city.
Oh,
It's a powerful image, right? We're not just passive consumers, we're
yeah.
active participants shaping this digital world.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. We've got Steel Dot Country,
Mm-hmm.
maybe representing a powerful nation state with a vision for the digital world. Then we've got Universe Business, laying out these ambitious projects and hinting at new forms of global governance. And at the heart of it all, we have the individual, the intangible citizen, trying to find their way in this constantly evolving digital landscape.
It's like a three-way dance, isn't it? The nation state, the digital innovators, and the individuals who are shaping and being shaped by these systems.
And circular domains, with their focus on sustainability, security, and continuous improvement, they could be the ones making sure it all works.
Yep.
That these systems develop in a responsible and ethical way.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. It's like circular domains is a bridge between the big dreams of the digital innovators and the real-world impact on people and society.
So after all this, what's the message for our listeners? What's the key takeaway from our deep dive?
The future isn't set in stone. There's so much potential, but it requires us to be engaged. We've seen how powerful forces are at play, shaping the digital world in ways that will affect all of us.
It's a call to action then. Like we all have a responsibility to pay attention and participate in shaping this digital future.
Absolutely. We can choose to just go with the flow, or we can be active citizens shaping this digital world in a way that aligns with our values.
And that's why these deep dives are so important, right?
Yeah.
They give us the knowledge we need to make informed choices and actually be part of building the future we want to see.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, as you go about your day, think about this. How will you use your voice and your choices in this digital world? How will you help